It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for Ignition with the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. We just had one heck of a weekend of professional wrestling, and we also had WrestleMania nights 1 and 2. The Stardom show, the American Dream, my God, was it great. I got to tell you, if you're not watching those shows, I mean, the cool thing about WrestleMania weekend to me, guys, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, is that all the indie shows and all the other shows that have shows on those WrestleMania weekends, do you like those? Do you watch those other shows?
Yeah, a lot of great content, man.
Yeah. Did you guys see Sandman retire and Foley came out and squashed the Invisible Man for him?
The Invisible Man was toast, man.
Oh, that poor guy.
Got Mr. Sacco just killed the guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get on with the show because we got a lot to talk about tonight. This is Kelson.
And this is Barry. In the news front, the members of the design team behind AEW merchandise were let go as part of Pro Wrestling Tees' relationship with AEW, which has led to some consternation on Reddit. If you want to head to the next slide there, Kelson. And a lot of people took that and ran with it and came up with conspiracies enough that Pro Wrestling Tees issued an official statement that said the person who made the Reddit post circulating has no knowledge of our business. Nothing on that post is true, except that we unfortunately told some of our contracted designers we would not need them for as many AEW designs anymore. Some of the AEW designers are still contracted. Nothing has changed, and otherwise, we are still fulfilling the merchandise for AEW. So hopefully that clears up some of the confusion. It's been a little bit of drama today on the news front, but all things considered, I wish the best of luck to all the artists and hope they continue to find work elsewhere.
Hey everybody, this is Chris with a little bit of fun, silly news. Chris Jericho has trademarked the guy who gets his ass beat by the Demand every week that he shows up. Never change, Chris Jericho. Never change.
Hi, this is Valerie. So AEW is reportedly set to run Redemption between Forbidden Door in June and August with All In, my two favorite pay-per-views. Let's go.
Yeah, Chris here again, and more fun news. After Tony Khan tweets, AEW is where the best wrestle after WrestleMania 42, night one ends. And I think we can all agree he is right.
What's going on? It's your boy ZOMG Shane D. AEW's Double or Nothing has sold over 11,000 tickets. For those that don't know, that's at the Louis Armstrong Stadium up in New York. And they have a capacity around 14,000, and only one match has been announced for this card. And it's a pretty important one. If you guys are paying attention, there's a lot of rifts between Konosuke Takeshita and Kazuchika Okada. And we're finally getting to see them square off for the AEW International Championship. I think this is going to be a really great match. There's a lot of implications for the Don Callis family faction and what, the direction that they're going to be headed in moving forward after this match. Is Don Callis going to turn on Okada? I don't see him really turning on Okada, to be fair. I mean, like, Okada's a bigger presence in the Don Callis family, and it seems like Takeshita is kind of hitting a redemption arc. That's my opinion. I think the match is going to be absolutely solid. Takeshita is one of the best performers on the roster right now in terms of the men, in my opinion, and I think we're going to get a real slobber knocker out of this one, boys. What do you think? Boys and girls, excuse me.
Well, look, I want to ask a question on top of that, because do you really think that Don Callis is going to turn on either or? I mean, is he going to turn on Okada, and is he going to turn on Takeshita? My take is that he's going to turn on Takeshita.
Yeah,
of course.
And by what I mean by turning on Takeshita, he's going to turn on Takeshita before the pay-per-view, but he's going to flip it at the pay-per-view. He's going to betray Okada. It's going to be a total swerve.
You think?
I absolutely think that Takeshita will be in the Don Callis family after Double or Nothing, and Okada will be gone.
Are you going to see sad Okada?
Yeah. I fantasy booked that a little bit differently.
Okada.
Go ahead, Chris.
I say we might see the return of crazy red-haired balloon Okada.
Oh, man. We could only be so lucky. I mean, in my fantasy pro wrestling world, there's been a lot of buildup for Takeshita actually leaving the family. And there are a lot of people with a lot of history with Okada in the men's division right now that seemingly, could be an issue. Obviously Kenny Omega on the back of his loss could be his next big move, could be Okada, being that that's one of his biggest rivalries, grabbing the low-hanging fruit now that we know that he's not going to be able to go after the big one again, if not indefinitely, for a very long time. I could see Takeshita with the Bucks again. I could see that. I could see him on his own because he really can't stand on his own. He was doing a really good job before the Don Callis family. Anyone else got anything different on that?
Crazy kind of fantasy idea. Will Ospreay has trademarked United Empire. What if he starts building an AEW version of it because the New Japan guys can't be there full time? And Ospreay knows all about how much of a bastard Don Callis is. What if he welcomed Takeshita because they've been through the heat of battle, and Ospreay can see Takeshita's the kind of guy who he won't mind fighting dirty, but he doesn't fight the cowardly multiple people. He doesn't like that kind of crap.
I want to expand on the Ospreay thing and then pass on talking for a couple seconds. There was a rift between New Japan and AEW earlier in this year over the use of the Bullet Club again in AEW. This is the second or third time that that's been a thing. I think that Japan is giving AEW permissions for United Empire as a segue into Forbidden Door. I know he just trademarked that, so it'd be cool to see them expand that outward. I cannot see, who in AEW? Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher are both with Don Callis. Those were his big, United Empire guys in AEW. I have a hard time believing that we're going to get an immediate lift off the ground of that action.
One interesting thing in New Japan, Andrade is part of United Empire.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
But in America,
he's but in America.
But you look at how he's been acting, him shaking Darby's hand, him not being happy with Don Callis. He could easily break off, and he's getting cheers, and he wouldn't really have to change anything to wrestle as a face because he's got that swagger and everything.
Yeah,
but we're getting way off topic.
Yeah.
But I want to go to let's go to Tunchi. Welcome, Tunchi. You've not been with us before, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say.
Hey guys, long-time listener. We can't forget the implications of the rest of the family. We have Andrade that's been kind of boiling over this use of the Don Callis family by MJF. We have Kyle Fletcher, who knows how that story goes, but it definitely was headed in the direction of a decision he had to make as well. So I don't think this ends at Double or Nothing. Whatever happens, I think it's only going to get deeper.
I kind of have to agree with you. Let's go to Valerie. Valerie, I know that you and there's Conrad. Welcome, Conrad. But Valerie, let's go. Let's hear your thoughts.
I'm kind of torn because I said last week that I wanted Takeshita out of the Don Callis family for months and months and months. And I think that he will be out at Double or Nothing. Because if you remember way, way back when the Don Callis family was born, after Don turned on Kenny and aligned himself with Takeshita, he said that he was like his son, the son he never has, and he had the saying, oh, he's better than Inoki, better than Tanahashi. And then he used the same lines with Okada. So I believe that he will stick with Okada because Okada is like the big star in Japan and he now is with AEW. So I think, and I feel very strongly about this, that Okada will stay with the Don Callis family and Takeshita will be out.
Barry, before you start, Conrad, we're getting a message. You have some connectivity issues, and it says for you to go off and come back without trying to use your camera. Barry, let's hear what you have to say, bud.
I got nothing to add.
You've got nothing to add. I was
There you
about
go.
to.
Wore his
I was
shirt
about
for
to.
crying out loud.
The
I
sky
got-
is.
Oh,
The
God.
sky
I gotta
is
say,
falling.
Is he? Are you sick? You feeling okay over there, bud?
Yeah.
well,
I'll,
Valerie and
I'll
Tunchi kind of nailed it,
Okay,
I'll
let's
in
keep
my
it
let Barry
opinion.
short. Yeah, no,
let
I'll
Barry
keep it
talk.
short. I think this is all going to boil down to Don needing to make a choice, and the whole match is going to be centered on who's Don going to pick. And I think everybody's kind of seeing that in their head. The screwdriver is going to come into play here. I think he's going to your point, Kelson, he's going to act like he's going to help somebody, and he's going to swerve to the other one. I don't know who it's going to be, Okada or Takeshita. I still think this ends up as a rematch at All In to unify those belts. The storyline between Takeshita and Mox is still open and unfinished. I do think that's going to play in. So I honestly, I don't know who's going to go over in this match. I'm assuming Okada, and because I think Okada is going to go over, or I'm assuming he's going to go over, I'm figuring Don sides with him. But to your point, Kelson, they could swerve and go in a fresh direction, do the unexpected. You can still get to the same place at All In, have a little fun with it.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens leading up to Double or Nothing. There's going to be probably some hints being dropped, and we're just going to have to pay attention to it. I want to move on now. This isn't really a discussion topic, but I just want to let you guys know, if you haven't seen it, that AEW did produce and post another video in their Everything You Need to Know About AEW series, I guess is the best way of putting it. And this one is called Everything You Need to Know About Darby Allin. It's on YouTube. Go give it a look. And speaking of Darby Allin, on Dynamite tomorrow night, we're going to hear from the AEW World Champion Darby Allin. We are going to also see him in a match, and we'll talk about that match a little bit later. But the question that has been brought up many times throughout the internet is Darby Allin the man that AEW needs to have in the World Championship scene right now? What do you guys think? Is he the right guy as world champion?
Yeah, he absolutely is. I mean, is he top dog? No, but I think it's a breath of fresh air from everybody who has had it before, who keeps on getting it back. So they need some fresh young talent and a fresh face, and he brings something that a lot of people don't. So I think he is. I know it's unpopular opinion, but I think it's what they need right now for a little bit, not for a long term though.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Anybody else want any thoughts on Darby Allin as the world champion?
I
I got
didn't.
something.
Yeah, me too. Well,
Yeah,
I'm
I
just
got
gonna go
comments.
with Will Craig. Last week I said MJF, but I didn't expect Darby to go that quick. The match being that quick and under like what 5-6 minutes. So, but I got a hunch when I saw Darby walking down and kissing his family. I said, "Oh, he's winning," and I was like, "Yep, it's happening." When he did the coffin drop and like 4 times, I said, "Okay, it's done." So I'm happy, but in a way, I'm not because of the match that MJF had with Kenny at Dynasty, and Kenny not winning it and Darby winning it after. It was like, oof.
Yeah, I get that point, Valerie. It does seem kind of suspect because I think most people would say that Kenny Omega has the more stellar career than
Yeah.
Darby has had. Yeah, so
But to be fair to Darby, he used exactly the same thing that MJF did to Kenny at Dynasty, because I watched the match back, and because where I was sitting, I couldn't see very well. So I watched the end of the match and I knew that MJF did something, but I didn't know what. And I watched it again, and then I saw what he did and was like, okay, Darby, like, he's doing the same thing that MJF did to Kenny, and now I got it.
all right, Tunchi, you were going to speak, and let's hear what your thoughts are.
Yeah, so I love Darby Allin's character. I love what he does. The biggest thing that I feel plays against him is his continued in-ring story of beat up, beat up, beat up, roll up, win. Now, I think what he did with Ospreay in the Continental Classic 2 years ago, that's a match I want to see from him. And that's a match that I think would keep him world champion. Otherwise, I do see him as, I guess, sort of transitional. But I think he has it in him. I want to see it.
Conrad, I'm dying to hear what you have to say about Darby Allin. Is he here? He's muted.
I'm sorry, I muted
Russians got
myself.
him.
Yep, I'm good. I'm back. I'm free. The Darby Allin situation is interesting to me. I couldn't believe like the discourse I saw online about it a little bit, like people not getting it, but it could be bad faith. But Darby Allin I view as a Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley hybrid. Those guys never had really long title reigns. I don't expect this to go too long. It's kind of a feel-good moment, and Darby's usually better on the chase anyway. So I'm okay with this. It's rewarding a talent who's an original who stuck by what he wanted to do and did it his way.
Go ahead, Shane.
Yeah.
I wanted to comment on the Kenny thing. In terms of the story that was being told, they painted Kenny as, the guy that can't get there anymore because of a permanent injury. It's no surprise that the indestructible man that just went up to I almost said Mount Alverna. It's my old job. Mount Everest and planted the AEW flag up there like the company guy, the guy that doesn't look like the company guy is the company guy. Of course, they gave him this opportunity, though I don't agree with the idea that the match was contrived, I do think that the quickness and the surprise had served it serves a purpose. I also agree with Conrad on the panel that this is going to be a transitional thing. Not that I want it to be. I think he could, carry the belt respectfully and for a long time, but I'm not sure if he's he's made it clear in character. I don't need this. It's just a trophy, like he could do it without it. He could be him without it, but I would be curious if he did hold it for a while.
Very.
How did we go on picks for this? 1 for 5 last week, I think, or 1 for 4, right? So only one of us picked him to win. I was not one of those people. Yeah, I was not one of those people.
You were pretty vociferous about not being one of those people.
And to be clear, I enjoy Darby's character, as I mentioned. I think I do enjoy him. I have problems. Tunchi, I think you or Conrad were mentioning it, Jeff Hardy, Mick Foley type. I even use that. It's very much the same. I have trouble accepting him. That being said, I really enjoyed how they did it. I thought creatively last week's episode did some of the most unique and interesting narrative stuff AEW has tried. They made it very clear he was winning from the beginning to build it the whole show. They bookended with the start and the finish with him. I thought his promo was emotional and it really grounded me and made me want to root for him. They turned me around to want to see this in a way that I did not before that show because I didn't see it. I didn't see the chase. I wasn't emotionally invested. I needed them to make me want to see him overcome. And they did that in his promo. And to Val's point, how he won, I thought was perfect. I don't think it would have had the same significance if they went out there and had a 20 or 25-minute match. Max getting screwed over by his own underhanded tactics by the always more clever Darby Allin was great. And I would encourage people, if you've not been on YouTube, there is a YouTube account called Tranquilo Club. And he's an AEW fan. He used to post a lot more. He's very rare now, does a video once every 6 months to a year. And he covered this in a very unique way and traced back the headlock takeover that MJF and Darby have done all the way back to the Indies. This is a finish that they have been doing for years before AEW, and I was not aware of that collection. And learning some more of that, it's a little cherry on top. It's one of those extra special things that when you go real deep on the indie scene and your knowledge of performers goes real deep, you get a little extra satisfaction on how they did it. I was really satisfied at the end of the show. I think it'll be transitory. I don't see him being his character just getting the crap beat out of him explains him losing it in a short term anyways, because he's always getting beat up. It would make sense. He can't overcome everything. So, but I enjoyed it. I questioned the choice, but I thought how they executed it was quite good.
Chris, have you gone yet?
No, but Barry said about 90% of what I was going to. Like, just took the words right out of my mouth, but it's
my apologies.
No, okay. The only thing I will add is you look at Darby Allin's other title reigns, his TNT title reigns. He was the guy who defended that title week after week after week, and it ended up biting him in the butt in the end because he had a relatively short reign. You know he's going to do the same thing with the world title because he believes that a champion should be defending against any and all challengers. So I think how he won worked, and I think the run will be a short, burning the candle at both ends kind of run for him, which is perfect for him and his character.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of agree with what Barry said because the build-up throughout the show, starting right at the beginning with MJF supposedly not even being aware that he had a match and that it was opening the show because it was originally slated to open the show, but it didn't. But they built up the emotion all the way through. But I think the biggest thing that happened that I took away from this is that at the end of the show, you came away from that show thinking, hey, anything it can happen in AEW. It's not going to always follow the script. Because I was looking at this like there's just no way that Darby's going to win this match. All the way until he got the pin. I was still thinking there is no way he's going to win this match.
I thought Jeff was kicking out for sure, man.
and after he did get the pin, I was thinking there's no way that he just won that match. And you know who else thought the same thing that I thought? MJF, because he went nuts. He played this to perfection. I can't read this out, but there's a tweet that's out there for people that are not watching us live on YouTube and are listening to us on Apple Podcast or Spotify or iHeartRadio or whatever. I mean, he kicked me in the nuts. He did this. He did that. He's a cheater. MJF went nuts. Now, here's the thing. Right after this match was over, there were reports that were coming out saying that MJF was going to immediately be filming a movie. But then in the middle of the week, it was reports coming out that MJF is playing a part at Double or Nothing. So this may be something that's going to keep going on. Maybe MJF faces Darby Allin again. And you know how that script goes. The champion that just wins the championship wrestles the former champion and wins, kind of validates them as the new champion. But now with what happened at the main event at Dynamite Spring Breakthrough, I don't know if that's going to happen this time. And speaking of Dynamite, that really wasn't a discussion topic, but I do want to bring this up. And now that Conrad's here, Conrad, why don't you tell everybody about your podcast tomorrow night?
There we go. If I can hit the mute button. Yeah, we're going to be talking Dynamite right after Dynamite goes off the air. If you guys come over to Everything Pro Wrestling or at EPW Show, we're going to be talking about everything that we're running down tonight. So it's always fun, good time. Come talk some pro wrestling with me and my buddy Derek.
Yeah, Conrad and Derek, they're so much fun. Guys, people on the podcast, I know, Chris, you've been there. I don't know if anybody else has been. Yeah, it's so much fun. I have a good time every time I'm on that show, not on the show, but listening to the show. They're very fun, and give it a shot. So let's talk about MJF now and Darby Allin and, well, Tommaso Ciampa, because we have a world championship match tomorrow night between Tommaso Ciampa and Darby Allin. Who was it that said that they were kind of tired of seeing Darby Allin, following the script of getting his ass kicked and then roll up at the end of the match? Who was it that said that?
All of us.
Right here.
Yeah. I mean, very reminiscent. Darby Allin, the way his matches go is very reminiscent of Orange Cassidy matches to me, especially when Orange Cassidy was held the international title on that, what was a 44 defense reign. But let's look at this match. What needs to happen in this match? And do you think that MJF gets involved in this some way?
No.
I don't think MJF gets involved in the match, but I wouldn't be shocked if we see some post-match shenanigans involving him. As far as what the match needs to be, I think we do need to see Darby Allin getting some solid offense. He's always going to be the kid who takes 3 shots to get 1, and just never stops fighting. And with Tommaso, he'll have that, but he needs that big kind of fiery comeback, not just a quick roll up.
I do think Tommaso Ciampa is the perfect guy to give him that match. Just like the match he had with Ace Austin.
Yeah.
I think he's pretty good at getting blown up in the ring and just having a fast-paced match.
Yeah, because Darby, one of the interesting things too on Dynamite is they went out of their way to line up challengers for Darby before he even won. Ciampa said he was going to say it. Kevin Knight came out and said he wants a shot at the title. So I think Kelson or somebody else in a moment was mentioning that what are they doing? And I think one of the keys to kind of solidify Darby is you don't want him in there against a big person because it's just going to make him look super small. And so they've got him in there and they've lined up challengers that are relatively the same in height. Ciampa's bigger than him muscular wise, but he's not a huge dude. Same for Kevin Knight, fit, athletic, but not a huge dude. And let Darby go in there and have a match where he doesn't get the crap beat out of him. I'm sure Ciampa will beat him up and throw him around a little bit, but people forget too, and we even mentioned this last week, like Darby can wrestle. Like he's good in the ring when he's not just doing a match where he gets beat up. So I'm really excited to see what they can do. I hope they give him 10, 12, 15 minutes to go out there and really have a good time and remind people that Darby's more than just a spot fest guy.
Well, let me ask you a specific question, Barry. Do you think that Darby needs a dominant win, or is he okay doing the way he's going now?
I don't want to, as the champ, I don't want to see him with he gets beat up and scores with a roll up. With Orange Cassidy back in the day, that made sense because him being exhausted as a champion, how's he going to get out of this one was part of the story. As a fresh champ, I want to see him go. He's got to be established as a guy who is worthy of carrying that belt, and somebody who gets the crap beat out of him and wins in a fluke win isn't that guy. And so I think I'm hoping, let me put it that way, that we get a more competitive match than traditional with Darby Allin.
Well, Conrad has raised his hand, so I'm going to go to Conrad here for his opinion.
I just have one thing I wanted to bring up to the panel. There's something interesting about Tommaso Ciampa. I don't know if anyone caught his tweet, but first time he challenged for the NXT championship, he won the championship. First time he challenged for this, he went through all the titles and he was like, first time I challenged for the Ring of Honor TV title, I won it. And I was just like, that's interesting. It was a good way to get people believing like it could happen again. So
yeah,
they just showed last week. Anything can happen. Who said that? Like anything can happen. They established that last week. So that's a good point.
Yeah, Conrad, I mean, there was a period of time that Tommaso Ciampa carried NXT. What a great time for NXT as well. I mean, that was the golden era of that. You guys really, I want to ask the whole panel, you guys really think that MJF isn't going to interfere with this match in some way, shape, or form?
Oh, he will.
Whether he's coming out himself, masking up, or paying someone on camera to come out here and mess with themselves. Not being directly involved. I mean, like, I think given the nature of how he lost, I think he'd have more incentive to run out there and be hands-on with revenge. Desperation.
Shane, it's the return of the devil, or as we like to call him, CM Punk.
Shane,
don't drag me back there, please.
So Shane, though, on that, like, MJF's not going to let somebody else win that belt. He's not going to screw Darby over and let Ciampa. He wants it. He wants to beat Darby. So maybe afterwards, but I don't think he's going to impact the finish of this match because he's the one that wants to take the belt off Darby, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
By any means necessary. The low hanging fruit is his thing, and I do agree with you. He wants to take it off of Darby. I wasn't implying that.
Oh, okay.
But I would see him and obviously, this is this is just filler. Darby's gonna go over Ciampa. They're not gonna be, popcorning the AEW World Championship. That's not gonna be a thing. It's not, at least not right now in terms of story, but yeah.
Yeah, see, I gotta agree with Barry. I don't think he's gonna interfere in the match, but I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out and beats the crap out of Darby afterwards. And I think it's going rematch at Double or Nothing. And MJF isn't going to wrestle at all between now and Double or Nothing because he needs time to recover. If Darby wants to be stupid and defend against every Tom, Dick, and Harry out there, fine. No matter what happens, I am in the main event for the world title at Double or Nothing.
I don't think it's a good idea for him to do every week. I don't think he will, but I myself really kind of want Darby to get away from the coffin drop as much as the finisher and start using the death drop and stuff that are a little more tamer and easier to pull off. But he's going to do an excellent job. I love the way he's doing stuff. But MJF is going to bide his time, and they could have a match, but that doesn't mean that MJF needs the title back either.
Who's
You know,
going
you-
who if they run back the MJF Darby match and MJF does lose and Darby continues to carry, what happens after?
That's a good question.
I mean,
Some-
like anyone
Something
have
for Forbidden Door, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you could find someone from Forbidden Door. You could do some other things too, but and there's other people.
El Desperado in a freaking death match.
Well, you need somebody about Darby's size. So
El Phantasmo, is that his name? Is it Phantasmo? What is it?
El Phantasmo, but El
ELP.
Desperado.
No, I was thinking. Yeah. Anyway,
You know,
El
like-
Desperado and Darby have been wanting to have a match.
Well, like I liked what you said, Shade. Who is that masked man? I think it would be something to see MJF come out with a like full body suit with a Mystico type match, a luchadora type match, mask on. I mean, and beat the hell out of Darby Allin. But Wardlow comes out to save Darby Allin, but ends up helping MJF. That's a good way to get Wardlow back. He's apparently ready to come back. I mean, we can go full circle on this. I don't know.
And Don Callis owes MJF. And
That's very true.
What if he sends Andrade out?
what if Andrade doesn't want to help?
Exactly.
Andrade is not going to want to help.
Nope. They shook hands and he's avoided beating him up.
Is there anybody else that had an opinion about this match and this storyline? All right, then. Well, let's go on to the next match because the ongoing saga of Will Ospreay getting the crap beat out of him by Don Callis family members is going to continue on AEW Dynamite. And when I say that, I kind of mean it. I think Mark Davis is going to target Will Ospreay and basically murder him and set Ospreay back so that come Double or Nothing, whatever match Ospreay has, he's going to be beaten, broken, and the complete underdog and puke and rally and get it done. What do you guys think about this match right here?
anyone?
I think it has potential to be pretty darn good. They know each other. They fought each other, so this will be good. I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
I think
yeah.
I think the repackage on Mark Davis has been awesome. I don't think he needs
Dunkzilla.
Yeah, I think the repackage on him has been absolutely awesome. But I think he's gonna hang around the mid card. I think we all know how this match ends. We'll get some cool wrestling and Ospreay's gonna go over. Unless, of course, Don Callis family comes out and kicks the crap out of him again. And does it matter at this point? Because he's gonna get his redemption arc at some point. They're building it up, United Empire or not.
Well,
Ospreay will be the guy.
Well, we do have that pay-per-view coming up between Forbidden Door and All In called Redemption, and I think this is built for Will Ospreay. I do think Will Ospreay is going to be in the main event at All In, but he's got to get his redemption to earn it. And that may be as the winner of the, because it looks like Redemption is going to be where the winner of the Owen Hart is decided.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
That would work.
They got to
was
start
gonna
on
say,
this soon, huh?
back in, I want to say it was 2023 New Japan Cup. Ospreay and Mark Davis squared off, and they had a fantastic match. And I would say both guys have only gotten better since then. So I'm really, really hoping this one gets 15, maybe even close to 20. and they just let these guys go, because if they do, it will be one of the best matches you've seen, in the last 3 weeks.
I
Yep.
think this will be fun. This will be fun.
It
I'm
will.
with you, Kelson. It's funny because Brian Alvarez on the various Wrestling Observer Live and radio shows mentioned that Will always loses his way to his championships, which is funny and I think is stupid. I really hope that if Tony decides he's going to be the guy, that we get a nice long winning streak from Will. I think it's due. But to Chris's point, these guys know each other inside and out. They'll get 10 to 15 minutes, have a lot of fun. I don't think it really matters the finish. We all know the Callis family is going to be involved. That's the storyline. But I will say, like, I just, from Will, even coming out of the pay-per-view, I really enjoy the intensity he had and just the violence he showed towards Mox. It's a side of Will I don't think we've really seen. He's been too puppy dog, to use Jess's phrase to describe him. And I'd like to see some of that intensity come back. Especially, this is a match where Mark can take a beating because he's a big, thick boss dude. And I'd like to see Will up that intensity a little bit. And I'd like to see some of the stuff he did against Moxley come back.
Anybody else with an opinion about this match?
I think there will be some sort of Death Rider presence. Will lost to Mox in the Continental Rules match. That's fair and square. There's no reason for there to be, anything more other than the redemption. But it was Marina Shafir that showed up to his match last week. They're coming to Will. Where's that going?
That's very true. Well, we're just going to have to wait and see, because I think a lot of this is going to be answered tomorrow night. And I really do believe it's going to be a redemption arc where during the Owen Hart tournament, I think Will Ospreay is going to get his opportunity to beat everybody that wronged him on his way to winning the Owen Hart Cup Foundation tournament. It's as simple as that. But there's another match on Dynamite tomorrow night, and this one is kind of really interesting. Mina Shirakawa against Hikaru Shida. Shida looks like she's the heel of this era of her existence. Shirakawa, Mina's just Mina. They don't trust each other. Do you think that Shida's the one that took out Tony Storm?
I don't know.
Yes. The answer is yes.
The answer is yes.
Oh, absolutely yes. I'm not saying nothing else.
Flesh
heel
that
Shida's
out.
awesome.
You can't just drop that and be like, I'm walking away.
Absolutely. You're
You can't do that.
heel Shida's awesome. Just let it be. Let it cook. It's too soon. Let it cook. It's a yes. And when that cover's pulled back, it's going to be awesome. Enjoy the ride.
I'm definitely hoping for a Shida heel turn, so I would not mind that one bit, and it would kind of make sense, Tony Storm, Hikaru Shida may not have been the first champion, but for a long time, she was really the ace of that division. Like, she was the top wrestler, and then she had all her visa issues, and Tony Storm comes up with this crazy gimmick, and now she's the top deal. So I could see a situation where Shida was just like stewing about that, and decided to just take her out and go after what she wants.
One of the things I did want to bring up here, and I don't know how quite to say this without sounding condescending, but you have two Japanese born and raised wrestlers, and they're doing really, really well on their English promos, especially Shida. She is fantastic. I have to give her props.
I
ahead,
like when the Japanese performers yell at each other in Japanese. There's a couple languages when they're angry sound just terrifying.
Oh yeah,
German is one of them, and Japanese is another one. Like when they're worked up, it's just terrifying to hear, and I love it. I really enjoyed when they would go at each other a little in Japanese and then partner it with the English summary, so to speak.
Yeah,
I enjoy when they do that both in WWE and AEW. I like that a lot, and I hope the emotion comes out a little more. So
it's a
When
very tonal language. So yeah, you have that
yeah,
like inflection and things like that are very important. Like because you can have one word spelled the same way but mean nine different things just based on how
yeah,
you say
it just sounds terrifying. I don't know what they're saying. It just sounds
well,
it
Barry,
just sounds
somebody,
scary.
and I have to apologize because I don't remember what it was, but somebody did translate the conversation between Mina Shirakawa and Hikaru Shida. The only thing I could remember was that it was really funny. It was funny, but you couldn't understand it because I couldn't understand it because I don't speak Japanese.
Yeah, well, like even Takeshi and Okada got into it. I love when Takeshi. Like, it's just I don't know. It's one of those fun things when you've got a really strong international roster where you can kind of pull those things out. Because we all know in real life they'd be yelling at each other in their native tongues, so it's fun and it's just a fun little thing that they can do on TV. And I don't know. People yelling in Japanese is just fun.
I
You
think
have
between the last two Sheeta promos last week and the online exclusive 2 weeks ago, this has me with, or it has me hooked as my most, I guess, anticipated program. They translated 2 weeks ago also, and I think Sheeta is doing this two-faced kind of thing where she's nice in English and mean in Japanese. So much you could
it.
do with that, especially leading into Forbidden Doors. Who is she going to be to the AEW roster?
What's the angle with Chris too? Are they like setting them up to be a new tag team? Try to
Uh,
get Chris to go like what's that angle too? And then Sheeta was like creeping on Willow a couple weeks ago. They've kind of left that dangling out there. So she's come back with a vengeance.
Well,
Made her presence pretty heavy.
Chris clearly does not trust Hikaru Shida, and I think
Yeah.
that's what the purpose is, to have somebody that clearly doesn't trust Shida. To put
yeah,
that seed of doubt in, because let's face it, Sheeta's been the baby face of the company since she started with the company.
Yeah.
And she's a day oneer.
She's that mean neighbor that'll talk nice to you in front of you and then go talk to your other neighbors about you.
Shivya.
Yeah.
Shivya. There you go.
I also think that it's important to highlight that Hikaru Shida is the second most decorated women's world champion in AEW. She's 3-4 to Toni Storm. I couldn't put it. It's believable that she was the one that took her out of the game.
Well, Shida was the ace before Tony kind of took that mantle too.
Yeah,
she was the first 3-time champ. So
when Shida last lost her title, wasn't it Toni Storm that defeated her?
Yeah, I think so.
He sure was at Full Gear back in 2023, baby.
Yeah, so there is that arc there. Of course, we still don't know what's going on with Toni Storm, but still doesn't look like she's going to be back before the end of 2026.
It's a work.
You think she's called Bianca Belair at all?
It's a work.
Chat?
No. I really don't at this point. I don't, because they would have said something. I kind of agree with expand upon that, Shane. You think it's a work?
Yeah,
Tell us what you're thinking.
Well, I mean, like from the obvious, from the optics are, if we would be hearing more things about an injury, what kind of injury she would have. We have heard nothing. It's been radio silence. I mean, not to mention like how well it played into the story. Someone's going to come out, beat her, take her out of the game. Isn't Toni Storm's whole entire thing being an actress? Didn't she put over playing her old self less than a year and a half ago? You couldn't believe that she wouldn't fake being injured as an opportunity to blindside people messing with her opportunity to get back in the world championship frame. I think Ethekla is a great world champion. I would like to see the belt on her. No Tony, no Hikaru Shida, but
didn't they say though, like the Double or Nothing match was going to be Tony Tekla? Like I don't like. I want to believe you, Shane, but just objectively looking at the situation, a sudden change, she's off TV. I don't think it's work. It may not be something as long as they hinted. Yeah, but I mean, like, there's wish casting, and then there's just looking at reality, and this just doesn't make creative sense for
I don't
that to
know.
be a work.
I
Maybe
think they're
maybe
wanting.
she's not out as long as what they imply or something, because they said she's gonna be out a long time, and maybe she's back in 3 months. But like something like that, where they're not sharing an injury, it leads me to believe it's a serious health scare. There's a family issue. She is with child. It's one of those kind of things where it's not something you want out there if
They
she's
would
going to be gone
I,
for a significant period of
have
time.
said she's with child or something by now.
I'm not sure
I
about
think
that.
we
No,
I
they
may
think
don't.
be
You
in
don't
Fox
share
a.
any of
said
that
it's like,
information.
yeah,
Yeah, you
they're
don't share
Wrestling,
that stuff.
yeah,
wrestling loves baby announcements.
man, as a
So
father of
But
4, I will tell you straight up, some women don't want to put that out in the ether, especially immediately, and not to
they're not.
mention
Well, yeah.
her husband also works for AEW. There's obvious implications
Yeah.
with that
No, I
floating
agree with you.
around.
I mean, look, we just saw Bianca Belair in the best moment of WrestleMania Night 1, where she came out looking like Peanut from Jeff Dunham with that. She was dressed in purple. I'm sorry, but I thought of Peanut right away with the belly button. I was like, that's Peanut, Bianca Belair. But she was obviously more than 2 weeks pregnant, when she came out and made this announcement, and
Still
it was a
rocking
surprise.
those abs, though.
Yes, I mean, yeah, but I'm going to say 2 words that are going to have you shivering in anticipation.
No, dude.
all right, Frankenfurter.
Redemption. Hikaru Shida against Tony Storm at Redemption, because Hikaru Shida did in fact take out Tony Storm. Only Tony Storm knows that Shida took her out, and she's going to come back, and that's a perfect setup for a match at Redemption. Make the new pay-per-view something big. You're going to have the Owen Hart. It looks absolutely like you're going to have the Owen Hart tournament finals at Redemption, and then you're going to have Hikaru Shida against Tony Storm at Redemption. I think that makes the pay-per-view a must-see, and that's what you want.
I don't think so.
Something else that I don't know, if forgotten, maybe I missed it, but 2 years ago, 3 years ago, Mercedes Moné was attacked, and I don't think that ever got resolved, or we never got a conclusion from that. Is the killer still out there?
No, that was
Yeah,
when she
you're
was in the
right.
room. No, there was Julie Hart when she was attacked in the room. They revealed it was Julie Hart.
Was it said? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. I don't remember that. Honestly, I don't.
Yeah.
So, Tucci, I'm with you on that one. I didn't remember it. Must have not have been a very good angle.
It was not in one of the better creative. This was at the tail end of the dark era in the 2024 time.
The dark ages.
Yeah, they had a rough 18 months.
To wrap up the show, I wanted to talk about something that I know is near and dear to the hearts of some of you here.
Dogs.
Shane,
No.
Chris, I'm sure you're going to love this, but I want to talk about June 28th, 2026. Forbidden Door is coming back. And if you look at the graphic, isn't it sweet? You've got AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and for the first time ever, CMLL and Stardom are on the graphic, which I think is a must, because for me, New Japan has nothing to give.
Who's facing the shark?
Every year, Kelson. I've got to hijack this. Every year, Kelson, dude, just give Forbidden Door its day in court, dude. It exists for a reason. It's fan service, and it's great to see these promotions all working together. Honestly, I love the program, but I hate the term Forbidden Door. But it's never disappointed. Not to me.
I actually watched Forbidden Door last year because I loved the build-up toward Forbidden Door last year, because it wasn't very Forbidden Door-ish. There wasn't a lot of
We've talked about that too. I thought they struck a good balance last year, Kelson, because I agree that Forbidden Door kind of was momentum killer because it would stop all current storylines.
Exactly.
And they kept the top 3 going, and the rest was just fun, cool matches.
That's the way it
And
should be.
yeah, make it a celebration of wrestling. Have a couple you can book stuff, but keep the main stories going. Have those matches still, and the rest is just a celebration of the best people in the world doing what we like to watch.
There is absolutely no reason to have a storyline for Forbidden Door. There really isn't, because it's just watching the matches. If you watch the matches, if you enjoy the matches, that's all that matters. They don't mean anything. New Japan's never going to win a title from AEW. You know,
Did you make this graphic?
No, I did not make this graphic.
Okay. I'm just choosing
Yeah,
Darby in the casket. I thought was.
Who's going to face the shark?
Yeah, there's a shark. I mean, Forbidden Door jumping the shark. There you go.
Because they're in San Jose.
Still, that's kind of a weird thing to put
I
on.
can't get over Darby in the coffin on the graphic.
Yeah, no, I did.
So funny.
But the graphic has some cool. I mean, Persephone is definitely on the graphic. Mystico is on the graphic. Frankly, I'm hoping that we see a really strong representation from CMLL and Stardom, because again, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and it pains me to say it, New Japan has nothing.
Yeah, right now it doesn't.
I mean, there's maybe one or two wrestlers in New Japan that are worth watching.
Knockout Brothers.
Name them.
I can't name one New Japan. The only New Japan
Knockout Brothers.
No, listen. The only New Japan Pro Wrestling, there's only two, and I don't think one's with New Japan anymore, but he's a Japanese wrestler, so he's from New Japan. The one is Zack Sabre Jr., who I cannot stomach watching wrestling because his matches.
Oh, I love this guy. I love him.
Listen, it is. I'm just saying I don't like watching his matches because I am not a technical match person.
Yeah.
That's just not my thing, and I just find his matches to be. That match with him and Nigel McGuinness was so boring. I wanted to just like jump in the pool if I had one, and drown myself.
New Japan still got
the other
Yoda
one.
Shoot.
No, I got to tell you the other one because I said I had two, Barry, and I know you're going to appreciate this. The world famous Yoshitatsu.
Oh,
Isn't he doing E Honda? Is that him?
Who knows?
no,
Hiroki
Goto is playing
That's a we have this guy that comes onto our Discord. He's created
Not just
two different
ours,
accounts.
all of them.
But he also on Reddit he has. I'm not going to say his name, but he has I think he's up to 13 versions of his name because he keeps getting banned on all the other ones. And he is a Yoshitatsu fan, and he made a subreddit for Yoshitatsu that basically says he had his poster all F Kelson, F greatness of wrestling, F AEW Fan Hub, because we ban him because he comes on to this. That's all he talks about is Yoshitatsu.
Well, okay,
but whatever.
Better than Griff Garrison.
Let's speak of
Griff's got great
real Japanese New Japan guys that are interesting. Knockout Brothers are one of the best freaking tag teams in the world.
It'd be fun.
Oscar and Yuto Ice, they're both.
Wait, let me stop you. Wait, Chris, the Knockout Brothers. Who are the Knockout Brothers?
Oscar and Yuto Ice. They are New Japan Dojo graduates both. Oscar did start in the Fale Dojo, and I think Yuto spent some time over there as well. They teamed up during their Young Lion days. They went on excursion together. They came back, and they have just run over the tag team division.
I can honestly say I've never heard of them.
So, we saw, I think, a preview of one of the matches. We're going to get an Anarchy in the Arena match, and it's going to be United Empire versus Death Riders. I think we've seen
agreed.
that. I think that's what's going to happen in the Forbidden Door. You've still got Shota Umino and Yota Tsuji out there. Zack Sabre Jr. can come in like you mentioned. You can bring in Ren Narita, El Phantasmo, put him up against Hal Darby or something. Like there's a good 5-6 guys you can plug into anything in this show. I think it'll be I would like to see United Empire versus Death Riders that's where this should take place, and that'll get a lot of people on the show. And I mean, we all know the depth of CMLL's roster. They're on TV a bunch. Baltimore Jr. will come over. You've already got Mystico on dual contracts. And I'm more interested. Who do you think from Stardom will come over? Do you think we'll see like Sari and like who? Kelson, you're the Stardom expert. Who do you
Well,
think from Stardom?
just based on who, I'm not going to say who I'd like to see, but
Yeah.
I'm going to go by the two people. There's two people in the AEW to talk at length about Stardom. That's Tony Khan and Kenny Omega. Tony Khan and Kenny Omega are both Starlight Kid fans.
Yeah.
All right.
We
And so
probably
I
know
think,
he's awesome.
yeah. Kenny Omega is also a fan of Natsupoi, who, I've always said I'm going to marry her when I grow up.
She's
But-
Cosmic Angels, right?
Yeah, well, for right now,
Yeah.
Sunday that may go out the window.
Who do you see Thekla facing? Tekla.
Tekla at Forbidden Door. I don't believe that Tekla is going to face any. She's not going to be champion at Forbidden Door.
I'd like
I
to.
think-
I'd like to see some of the hate ladies come over and
Yeah, I
team
mean,
up with her.
obviously, I'd like to see Saya Kamatani come over. Bozilla's injured, so she's not going to be here. But
You
I'd
know,
like to
Tony
see-
would have booked her if she wasn't.
Momo, baby. Give me that baseball bat.
Azumi. There's just literally you could pull anybody from the roster on Stardom and make a good show out of it. Stardom just had American Dream 2026 on Friday, and there was Stardom basically versus AEW. Starlight Kid, May Sarah, and who was their partner? Azumi beat the crap out of Willow Nightingale, Harley Cameron, and Chris Statlander.
Yeah.
I mean, just destroyed them.
Starlight Kid hasn't been on TV on AEW TV yet. has he?
No.
I didn't think so.
Neither is Natsupoi. Matter of fact, Natsupoi was at American Dream, and she did a couple of indie appearances. That was her first matches in the United States ever.
Gotcha.
And she's a veteran. Maki Ito is was supposed to be there, but she was having visa. Somebody is making a ton of noise. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, and again, the same thing goes for CMLL. You've got Persephone, who's definitely going to be there on the women's side. You got Mystico Hechicero. At Forbidden Door, there's stuff going on and there's questions. Yes, I did say that I do not believe that Tekla is going to be the champion at Forbidden Door, the AEW Women's Champion. And even if she is, I do not believe that she will be defending the AEW Women's Championship at Forbidden Door. The reason I say that is because she's got two partners in the Sisters of Sin, and in an exhibition match, you want Tekla and the Sisters of Sin against three of Stardom's best. It's as simple as that. The other thing is that also at the American Dream 2026, Tekla, they've been bringing the story up in AEW in recent weeks, being fired from Stardom for attacking Taro Okada at American Dream 2026. Tekla showed up and attacked Taro Okada again. So that is going to be a story for Forbidden Door. I'm sorry, that's got to be.
Tekla,
Hey,
I
you
didn't
can't
get
fire her
fired from
twice.
Japan, and then she's like, "Okay, so maybe I did get fired from Japan." When she was doing that with Alex, I was dying.
That
They're
was
really
a great
gonna-
moment. Okay,
They're
maybe
gonna
I did get
struggle
fired.
to keep. Yeah, they're gonna struggle to keep her as a heel, man. Like she's got that breakthrough where people are gonna just start cheering her like they do Mox and ride
Well,
it because.
Well,
you
we
can see
talked about it
already.
last week because she's getting babyface pops as a heel.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Same
kind of.
as MJF gets.
She's got that kind of stone cold Eddie Guerrero type of charisma where they can do heelish things, but the way they do them, the way they act, you're like, all right, it's cool when they do it.
Yeah, but look, when it comes to Forbidden Door, I don't know what I know that Chris, I know that you're a New Japan guy, and you probably want to see pretty much the entire New Japan roster face the
No.
AEW roster, but I am much more looking forward to specifically CMLL and Stardom. I really am.
My idea would honestly be a couple of multi-person tag matches where you have
make it
Stardom and
tag.
AEW, Stardom and CML, New Japan and AEW, like that like the Anarchy in the Arena idea, United Empire. You could have Osprey representing AEW, Hinare Great Khan representing New Japan, Templario representing CMLL, and maybe like I mentioned, Andrade is part of it in NJPW, and man, him and Don Callis ain't getting along. Like I could see that split happening, and
Ultimately, let me ask you guys a question, and this is probably the last question because we're going to wrap this up because we are running a little long. With Forbidden Door, would you rather see no title matches and just straight up brawls?
No,
because to me, it looks when you have a title match. To me, when you have a title match, it predetermines the winner. I'd rather see a brawl.
Well,
what
kind of title matches, Kelson?
Any AEW title being any AEW title defended at Forbidden Door
Against another promotion or between AEW performers? Because last year I thought it was great. The title matches were main storyline AEW stuff.
Well, last year was kind of a weird situation because Forbidden Door lined up with the G1 Climax and the 5-star Grand Prix, so you didn't have the representation of New Japan and Stardom as you normally would. So but my thought is that don't put an AEW title up because it just tells you who's going to win the match. Have an all-out brawl, or do what Chris said. Have multi-man or multi-women matches with a mix. Have somebody on one side, it'd be AEW, Stardom, and CMLL, and on the other side, AEW, Stardom, and CMLL. Let them have at it.
Yeah, like my idea would be probably 10-match cards. That kind of seems right. What Tony likes to have 6 that are kind of Forbidden Door matches where you have teams of AEW, New Japan, and then 4 AEW kind of specific matches where you focus on the key storylines, the heavyweight title, maybe the tag titles, TNT title, something like that. So you get all that Forbidden Door goodness, but it's still AEW is the host, so it's like we're gonna have our key matches.
Yeah, and one of the other things too, I really wish AEW would do, and I think it would help for Forbidden Door season as well. I really think they should recap with a segment, 1 minute on Collision each week and 1 minute on Dynamite each week, where they just cover their partners and what's going on. Hey, here's the latest from New Japan. Just, so and so beat so and so at such and such and
That's a
won,
good
and so and
idea.
so. Especially if you've got AEW talent, like they do it a little bit during the G1 when Takesha's there and Battle of the Super Juniors when Nick Wayne is there and stuff. But like, I would like to know what's going on in CMLL. I would like to know what's going on in Stardom. I would like to know what's going on in New Japan. You've got a minute where you can splice together the highlights, and that's it. That way, when these people show up, I understand if they're a big deal or not, because I'm not going to see them weekly. And I, especially leading into Forbidden Door, I think that would be valuable.
Well, I will say this, is that CMLL has a show on Friday night. Stardom has their biggest pay-per-view of the year, All-Star Grand Queendom, on Sunday. It would be interesting if, now I don't know about CMLL, but with Stardom, it'll be interesting if, because after the matches on Stardom, they do have like backstage interviews, I guess, comments by their wrestlers. And I'm hoping on Sunday, Stardom wrestlers call out AEW wrestlers. Especially, it wouldn't surprise me at all if somebody said, "Hey, Tekla, you disrespected Teru Okada, our boss. I'm coming after you." for doing that. And then you can have a match between Tekla and somebody from Stardom. Don't make it a title match, because if you make it a title match, Tekla's going to win it. Make it just a non-title brawl. That's what I would be more interested in. There's no reason to put a title up for any of these matches. All right, guys. Well, we're going to call this one a night. We will be back, of course, Tuesday night at 8:45, as we are every Tuesday night. Again, make sure you listen in with the EPW show after Dynamite. Right after that show, go on to @EPW show on YouTube and listen to their podcast. It is a lot of fun. We'll be back with our Controlled Insanity on Tuesday night at 8:45 Eastern time. Of course, be sure to listen to the podcast, make comments, give us a rating. What do they need to do, Barry? They need to give us a thumbs up, and what is it?
Subscribe.
Smash
that like
no,
button.
I don't want to do this. Smash that like button
and hit that notification bell.
Oh, God,
I hate that stuff. Smash.
Yeah.
No, you can.
Subscribe and hit that like button.
We are friendly here. You can politely press the subscribe button. That would be most helpful. But anyway, for the AEW Fan Hub podcast team, this is Kelson. Good night, everybody.
Good night, Eddie Kingston.
Good night.